What's up, guys? We're back with another Thursday video right here on youtube.com/faucetdrop. Be sure to check us out every single Thursday. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Last week I talked about independent films that maybe don't get as much attention as some of the bigger high-budget Hollywood films. And a lot of people were probably thinking, oh, you're just talking out your butt because you make independent films. But I'm not talking out my butt. I'm talking out my mouth. And right here is one of the films that I talked about last week.
The Headhunter. I'm actually pretty excited about this movie. I haven't seen it yet, obviously, but I hear visually this movie looks really, really good. It's more on the low budget, and that's what makes it an indie film because there's not a lot of actors in it. But overall, visually, that's the #1 thing people give this movie. It's definitely a good one. So we're going to go ahead, and what we're going to do with these videos is we're going to actually watch these indie films or low budget or really kind of like films you haven't heard of but are really good. And we're going to give our reviews on them. Obviously, we're going to stay away from like the bigger films like Spider-Man, stuff like that, because obviously most of you are going to go see those movies because they're so popular. But like something like this, most of you probably have never heard of this movie, and I think it deserves, you know, not to be swept under the rug, and the same with a couple of others. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch the film and give our personal review on like whether it's good or not, and maybe you'll go check it out, you know, if it is pretty good. Alright, so we finished the movie The Headhunter, and by the way, it is an amazing movie. Overall, like, very visual. Like, a lot of the reviews I saw said that, and that's true. There's very, very little dialogue in that entire movie, but they do such a great job at telling a story without having to say a single word. It is one that you're not going to get like any dialogue, but watching it, you're going to completely understand what's going on and still be left with a little bit of mystery about the world. Like, they kind of create this world that they touch on a little bit, and it's super cool to see. Like, you get to understand, like, nothing's told to you besides the visual aspect, and you can still make out what's going on. That's super cool. I mean, what do you think about that?
Especially being what's considered independent film, a lot of low budget films, I guess the #1 hurdle to jump over is to show, don't tell. And that has a lot to do with don't tell someone within dialogue, I'm going to go to the store and then I'm going to come back. You could just cut to them at the store and then cut to them back at home. You don't need to tell every single thing that's going on. And this movie has maybe 5 lines of dialogue total.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
So yeah, it's all visual. You just follow along in his story. It's really a crazy magical feel to it. It's everything from trolls to dragons to giants. I mean, it's werewolves, I think there was.
Yeah, they look like a werewolf. They really had this like magical, like, you kind of go into it not expecting that, and maybe a little bit because of some of the cover, but like as much as it went into, it was so cool to see. Like I said, like, you definitely sit down and watch it because it really does. It is like a really good movie on showing you how to make a film without saying any words and still making a great film.
I think 4 actors are credited throughout the entire movie. So you have the main character, his daughter, the horse, and the main monster, which was the puppeteer. So that is incredible.
Which was really crazy because Rotten Tomatoes is like, I feel like some of the reviews are like either paid for or maybe not. I don't know how that goes, and so I feel like I'm never on the same par as someone. Sometimes they're really critical. This one I'm actually really weird. I don't know who judged it on the Rotten Tomatoes. It's not like the certified or anything, but on Rotten Tomatoes it actually has 100%. Like, I don't know how that was rated for them. Now the user base they based off of stars, and I think it was like 3 out of 5, so I don't know how many people actually went and rated it that saw it.
One thing that I do feel like needs to be said is the feeling of intensity, the feeling of I guess the suspense slowly building up and going down and building back up. The question of what is over there, you can't really see in the dark. I almost feel like you are viewing what's going on the way he does.
Yeah. So
whereas you can't see what's going on in the dark, you can hear things, but he's got a torch walking around, and you just can't really make out what's in the shadows. Neither can he. So you feel almost just as anxious, and you feel all that same anxiety that he's feeling going into the situation. That's a way to really get you to feel what he's feeling. And I think that's always the goal whenever you're telling a story, is for the viewer to sympathize with your character and to feel what they're feeling, try and emit that emotion. And as filmmakers, it's interesting sometimes to watch movies and almost tell that they used that one location. They filmed probably all day in that one location, but they were able to chop up the segments and make it look like it was over a couple seasons. They went from like fall to winter.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, so it was definitely you definitely get that seasonal change in there. That's part of that visual aspect we were talking about.
I feel like if you're into Game of Thrones, if you're into the show The Vikings, maybe a little bit of there's The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings.
That fantasy.
If you're into that fantasy world with huge landscapes, to me it felt like it was Iceland or Greenland, but apparently it was Portugal.
You get to see a lot of reboots and some movies that aren't that great, and you're like, how did this get in theaters? And some, I'm not trying to diss anybody that makes a movie. There's some that come into theaters and you're like, oh man, how did that get a budget? But then like a movie like this comes along and it's like, if this had a budget, like it, it could be a huge thing, and I'm glad to see that. So definitely, if you like what we're doing here, go watch some of these movies because support these people, and support us as well if we ever make a movie, because that'd be awesome. But go support these people and watch their movie, because I would like to see these people be able to like make another movie because they're so good at it. And in my own personal rating of this, like I'm gonna go 1 out of 5. I guess you want to do
1 out of 5. I honestly I would go for a 4.
4, yeah. So yeah, rating on 1 out of 5. I'm 100% agree with him on 4. It's a 4 out of 5. That means it's a really good movie, and as an artist, and if you like filmmaking at all, or even just how the story is made, it's a good story in its own. Or if you just like the art style that film is, go watch this movie. These people did a great job, and like money to even go rent this movie or buy it would well support something that like I feel like that I would want to see in the indie circuit come out of. I guess that's it. I can't remember what else I said.